Right, so we're ready to go. So, Philippe, you don't have to answer this question, but this is just about age range. So
Okay.
I have age range of 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35
25 to 34.
Okay, fantastic. Part of our initial research has been trying to understand the different types of users that might use some of our services.
Okay.
And so far we've got kind of 3 buckets. So I'm going to read you those 3 buckets. You can tell me if you naturally sit in one of those.
All right.
Yep. So the first one is influencer or thought leader. The second one is owner or manager. And the third one is a doer or a researcher.
Probably 1 and 3. I think that'll become clearer when we explain what we use it for.
Okay. What I'm also going to do is to show you some documentation that we created, and we call them personas.
Okay.
So I'm just going to open this document here. And what I'd like you to do is just have a look at these personas. I'll just move around so you can see exactly what we're looking at. If you could give those a scan, and using the up and down arrows, you can flick through them. And if any of those kind of resonate with you on your roles, you can just let me know.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll just attach you to one of those personas. If there's any information on there that you think seems incorrect or unrealistic, just let me know and I can adjust these and update them.
So they're obviously very investment banking or private equity focused. What we do, I think, if we have to connect ourselves to someone, it would be to Michael Brooks.
And this,
The
is this
reason
you
being-
specifically?
No, the team. So the reason why we engaged with Curation Corp initially was to get disruption news,
Okay.
or disruption-related news. So we have an internal team that has been set up to look at technology trends and innovations that might impact the insurance industry as a whole, or more specifically our business model or our business classes.
Okay.
That was what we initially did it for. I think we spoke to Nick and I think it's Adam about rolling this out and using it more for underwriting means, and that would put us in the J Kapoor.
Okay, would you say you're more of a kind of, your need is more around J Kapoor's than Michael?
So the current offering that we have is Michael.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to find out if it would be useful or what the added value would be to our underwriters would be Jacob Hall. Fortunately, we haven't gotten very far with that yet. It's been renewal season, so very busy for
Okay.
looking at insurance related.
So what's your job title, Philippe?
Mine is a strategy analyst.
And is it Philippe or Philippe?
Philippe.
Philippe.
Yeah, Philippe.
Okay, good. So you're a strategist?
Yes,
Yeah.
strategy analyst.
Strategy analyst. And what does a strategy analyst do?
That range that's quite a broad spectrum. I'm not even sure if my title is appropriate to what I do.
I mean, for somebody like me who doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily understand your market, if you could kind of paraphrase.
Sure. Okay. So I mostly work on those disruptive initiatives that I mentioned earlier. My role in those is can be bifold. So either we look into, or we research and develop a strategy based on what we think is going to have a big impact on our class of business and our underwriting results in the medium term. And then what I also do a lot is implement some of those technologies, so that can range from automation to blockchain to artificial intelligence. Kind of it.
Okay, cool. How many people do you have in your team?
We're 8.
There's 8 of you. And what kind of daily tasks are you responsible for?
Sorry. So that varies. We don't have a one particular item that needs to be done every day.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the project that we're working on. So to give you a view of what we're currently doing, I work closely with our RPA team, robotic process automation team.
So RPA, what was that again? The
robotic process automation.
Robotic process automation. Okay, cool.
And next to that, our current initiative is researching what is going to disrupt our value chain in the next 3 to 5 years. So that can range from client proposition to data analytics to automation again, or distribution.
Okay. We're going to move on to content and tools now.
Okay.
So, what kind of content do you consume for your role and why?
A lot of reports. So the reports originating from big 4 companies, McKinsey's, Bain's, BCG's, mainly on insurtech trends.
On what, sorry?
Insurtech.
Insurtech. Yeah.
So that's one side, and what we also use a lot is SNL, which is part of S&P, to get company information, Crunchbase, but that would link a lot to the results of companies, 10Ks, 10Qs.
Okay. And how much of your day is taken up kind of consuming this type of content?
That really depends. It's hard to put an average on that.
You could put it to a week, if you wanted to kind of give me some idea.
I would say 1/10 of my time. But it's very much concentrated. Yesterday I spent the day doing it. Today I might.
So it's concentrated in small blocks, generally. Yeah.
We do tend to keep up with everything that's out there through newsletters or the tracker that we have.
What's the tracker that you have?
Yeah, that's a tracker you guys gave us.
Fine. Okay.
Or developed for us.
Excellent. Okay. And then, is there too much or too little content to deal with, do you think?
No. You mean in general on the web or in the tracker?
Yeah. So when we're talking about the content that you consume for your role and the sources like McKinsey and the tools that you have, can you not get enough of that type of content, or is this too much to deal with?
No, I think there's a lot out there. It's about finding or selecting what is useful and what isn't. It's often a combination of 2 or 3 reports that give us the numbers or the insights that we need.
Yeah.
But no, there's definitely enough out there.
Okay. And is there any kind of specific habits that you go with when you're consuming this content? Kind of morning, during the day? Do you do it in the evenings, or is it just always on? Or do you try and kind of?
I do when I have time. So that depends.
Yeah. So it could be any time.
It could be any time. We have tight deadlines, and we usually plan it around that.
Okay. What tools do you use to access kind of role-based content, if any?
Tools, you mean hardware? Or
So it could be subscription services, apps,
okay,
feeds,
okay.
that kind of stuff.
So we have a number of subscriptions that we tend to use. One I mostly use on that one is SNL. Then
So SNL.
SNL.
Yeah.
Insurance Insider. I'm subscribed to a number of InsurTech ones. Digital Insurer. We find as soon as we see an interesting article on LinkedIn, we use it. I mean, there's all types of it.
Yeah.
But it's mainly web-based. We have, what do we use? We use the Slipcase app.
Slipcase.
Yes.
Okay. And what's
It's very insurance-specific news.
Are there any of these services that are paid? And if so, do you know how much they are or how much you pay for them?
I don't know how much we pay for them. I think there's a company-wide subscription to Slipcase. Insurance Insider has a subscription fee. Some of the Lloyd's feeds we have a subscription fee, but maybe as a member that we don't have to pay an additional fee for that.
Okay, and
yeah.
Which ones are the best?
SNL is also
SNL's paid, yeah.
Yeah, everything's paid. Everything's paid, actually.
Everybody wants paying for that stuff. Which ones are the best, and why are they the best?
Well, that depends on the topic. SNL is very complete regarding events, M&A trends, publication of results. For all that, it's really good. The Insurance Insider for everything that's insurance related.
Yeah.
I like the way Slipcase is presented. There's not one that jumps out over all categories.
Okay.
That's not very helpful.
Absolutely fine. And how often are new feeds or new services introduced?
You mean how often do we find a new feed that we can use, or new subscription,
so
something like that?
You've talked about a bunch of different services that you use, some paid, some not. How often do new ones come along that you kind of review or add to your kind of toolkit?
I mean, put it this way: if there are new ones that are being added, it's mainly because we search for a certain topic online, and that proves to be a reliable and good source. We then might take it further or apply for a trial. If the trial is successful, or if we tend to use it, then we take it further.
Okay.
One that is probably maybe the best is CB Insight. That one's really good.
CB Insights. Okay. And what's good about that?
Complete reports, trends, good newsletter. It covers a lot of what we're looking for.
And how long have you been using that one?
The company or me personally? Company, I wouldn't know. Me personally, I think the company from the beginning onwards. I've used it for the last 2 years since I've been in this role.
Cool. Are there any kind of killer features that you think really make it stand out?
No, not really.
Just works well.
I think that the reason why I connect with it a lot is because of their newsletter.
Okay.
Easy to read.
Okay, I'm going to move on to curation.
Yeah.
Find out kind of what you think of curation. So the first question I think I know the answer to. Have you heard of Curation Corporation?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And could you describe curation and what they offer?
Okay, so we don't make full use of their services to date, I think. So curation, if I understand your service proposition correctly, you scan the net or scan the web, potentially other sources, for topic-specific content. You then summarize that and provide a curated opinion to it. You either send that via email or apps, or we have a tracker. We don't have access to the curated feed, but we do have access to a selection of what you guys select as relevant articles.
Okay.
And we use that in the context of a tracker. So together with our IT team or our communications team, you guys build an RSS feed that feeds into our website and onto our mobile app.
So I think you kind of mentioned that in the last bit, but the question is, what, if any, of curation services are you aware of that you use? So you've already mentioned RSS feed. You've mentioned that we provide via email or apps.
Yeah, I get emails from you guys.
Okay.
Quick, cool.
Do you know how often they are?
Once a week. You guys send them on Sunday, I think, or Saturday. I'm quite sure. It's the first thing I read on the Monday morning.
Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and hope that the technology gods are.
Yeah, get them on Sunday evening.
Okay. And how do you feel about that? Is that the right time? Could there be a better time? What's the best time for you to kind of?
What would be the best time to receive these? Probably Monday evening. I don't know why, but for me personally, that would probably be the best time. Friday evening, I tend to put my iPhone to the left or to the right, whatever you want to put it.
Probably a good thing these days.
And then, but Monday evening, that works. I used to read it a lot on the train, but
Yeah.
now no longer taking the train, so I don't read them. Well, I do read them, but not on the train.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask you to take a look at this.
Okay.
Now, just to kind of reiterate that we're not going to give you any kind of hardcore task. We're not measuring how well we can use the service. What we're trying to do is find out how best this product suits your needs or not. And we want to find out exactly what you think about it. It's going to go back into our product development suite.
Okay.
We want to try and improve it.
Okay.
So as you kind of move around, just try and think out loud.
Okay.
Tell us what you can see. Try not to keep things to yourself.
Try not to keep things to myself.
Yeah, try and be as vocal as possible. So just first of all, kind of let me know that you know how to use a MacBook, that you're comfortable
that should
scrolling,
be fine. Yeah,
and all this kind of
I
stuff.
scrolled the other way around, but that's fine.
Do you want me to switch it back?
No, that's fine.
Okay, fine. So we're going to start by asking you to describe what you see and what you think it can do.
Okay, I see a web portal with a number of articles, a small summary of what the article says.
Yeah.
To the left, I see a number of tags, which I imagine I click on and I get more articles, sources, and what my alerts are. Also got a search bar. Can I play with it? Or?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay, so I just clicked on topics. I'm going to go into disruption in insurance.
It might be a little bit slow because I'm on my iPhone hotspot here.
All right, you can connect to the guests.
I think as it's working,
okay,
let's just kind of let it run its course.
Okay, let's have a look. So this is, I think, the same feed as I get on the tracker, so we'll have already seen this today. Going back to the search button, I'm going to look for distribution related.
So if you just tell us what you're inputting and what you're looking for.
Okay, I'm inputting. Okay, inputting something else because it doesn't find anything. I've inputted distribution related insurtech, but it doesn't find that, which might be a bit too specific. Distribution insurance. I got. I don't know how many articles I got. That would be cool to see. I see the number of tags, which is good, but yeah.
Okay, so
Two first two intro texts.
so I need to have a little play with that.
Sorry?
You can just have to continue to kind of play it. So
Okay.
really, the next question is: would you use a tool like this to address your content needs?
Who rates the articles?
Who do you think might rate the articles? What's your kind of assumption of that?
The user, but
So
you guys
when
curate news, so
okay.
it might even be you guys. But performance-based, okay.
Did you find it useful or helpful?
The rating is?
Yeah.
Honestly, I disregard them. But that's probably because I've grown accustomed to Netflix ratings and I think they're absolutely hideous. Okay, I'm changing my search now. Insurance-linked securities.
How does this compare to other tools that you might use?
Okay, I'm going to try something. Sorry. Afterwards, I'll answer your question. So I typed insurance-linked securities. Okay, that's good. It found ILS directly. Yeah, I'm going to check if I type ILS if the first 5 ones are the same. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not. Get a lot on Israel all of a sudden, which is very interesting. So I can collect it. Okay, that's cool.
So how useful is this content based on your searches?
Likely to contribute to insurance pricing drop. Fitch pricing drop. I would have clicked on this because I don't think I would imagine that it would have the opposite effect. Okay. This is when I click on it, I still get the same. The same? Yeah, the same summary. Would be cool if it showed the article at that point. I don't know if that's possible. I don't see much point in clicking on it if the content doesn't really change. I get related stories. Yeah, that's useful, but I really want to read the story.
Okay.
You had a question.
Yeah. So the question was, how does it compare to other tools that you kind of discussed earlier?
It's different.
Is it worse? Is it the same, or is it better? And if so, in what way?
So I think I use it differently. That's
in which way?
So when I go onto a website like the Insurance Insider, I go on to it like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect to see a new article every half an hour.
Okay.
When I click on this, so I don't know who created the alerts, but the first one is published 2 days ago.
Okay.
It's about 24 hours, so it wouldn't. I don't think it would. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it changes the order of priority or changes anything in every 15-20 minutes, then I would probably use it far more often. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's something to do.
And how does that kind of make you feel when you compare this to those other tools?
So is this the main screen?
That is the main screen.
Okay. One of the other ones that I use, which I kind of like, is when if I were to combine all the different things I use in my ideal interface, would be my subjects, subject I choose, in a tracker over the RSS feed here.
Yeah.
Topics, a search bar, and then here, big chunks of topics that I can just click on them and go into them.
Okay.
But that's because I use it. I use it that way.
So you've clicked on this link
Yes.
a few times now.
Yeah, I like it.
You like it.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk me through? Do you prefer this view than the other view? And if
Yes,
so,
I do.
okay. Can you give me some reasons for that answer?
Why? That's a good question. So I liked. I think if I'm interested in a number of different topics, which range from something very specific to insurance to something far wider, like drones or black swans or whatever.
Yeah.
To what is happening in cyber insurance. So when I go onto online or onto a service like this or a platform, I tend to want to have all the information regarding the drones in one specific area, all the information regarding disruption in another one, and I want to be able to choose which one I read on now. So I don't want to read an article on drones and then the next one is an article on insurtech. I prefer to have it segmented and for me to choose which one I will divulge the information in.
Sure. Okay. So I'm going to ask you just to briefly move back to the other screen that we're looking at. I'm just going to give you a few kind of questions to answer. So, which elements are useful and why? So, which elements on the page do you find most useful?
Search bar, definitely.
Yeah.
I like the alert signals. But then again, this would probably be something that I would prefer to handle in my profile.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit more about the alert signals? Are they low quality, medium quality, high quality? Are there things you understand or things you don't understand?
I don't know how they work.
Okay. What's your assumption of how they work or what they do?
So velocity alert. Pardon me, I'm not English, but I imagine that means that you get one quick as soon as it's published. Engines are growing faster, so it's pretty. Oh no, okay. All right, so that is for when trends are growing faster or slower. Super alert, a universally important risk. Okay. Negation alert. How does this work? Is it you guys who assign it to a certain alert category, or was this I want to get alerts if an article is published on these risks?
How do you think it's working at the moment?
So I imagine that you guys assign a certain alert signal to each article, and then when it's flagged, as soon as it's reached velocity alert. How does that work? Okay, if I click on it, then I see all of them, which are growing faster or slower than is perceived. I don't know what I would use that for. Because I imagine that the user...
About that alert specifically or alert signals in general?
So I would use alerts if it was something specific and I would just ping up on my phone. But if I use this as more of a, a setup box. Yeah. But I find it very... Okay. So how do you guys... Okay, yeah, you read... I mentioned that you guys determine product curated services.
Are there any elements that are not useful?
Why does one have curated content and the other one doesn't? Oh, what did I click on? How did I get to the curated content? Okay. Is this the same article? No, it's not. How does that work?
Would you want to kind of talk me through what you're doing? And
yeah, okay, sure. I'm clicking on. So I selected all the in alert signals. I selected velocity alert. I've got a bunch of articles which are all flagged velocity alert. If I click on velocity alert next to an article, it gives me something completely different. Not quite sure what that does. And then for some of these, there is curated content, and for others there isn't. Which sounds strange as well. No, okay. M&A one.
So how does that make you feel that some have curated content and some don't?
Okay. How does this work? Okay, none of them have curated content on the M&A alert. How does that make me feel?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really ruin my day, but just think it's inconsistent. But I imagine that you can't curate everything. Also, if I publish M&A alert, potential M&A activity, that's very little articles compared to what's going on.
And why do you think that is?
I just read a report on from Norton Rose, especially given the current market. And are you guys focusing on very big ones here? Because I, for example, would be interested in who of my competitors is acquiring which MGA, which is a managing agent.
Okay.
But that again is very specific. Okay. See, this is interesting. Europa is for sale, published 28 days ago. So yeah, I think if the first article I read on an M&A alert is published 5 days ago, I'm not sure if I would return to that section that often. And I mean, you can't make up any news, I agree, but yeah, I think if you have the topic section and then you select that, I'd be more forgiving if it wasn't updated all the time.
Okay, so kind of thinking back about you were describing some of the roles that you do for your job, and the kind of needs and tasks that you undertake. Do you think that you'd use this service?
So just
yep. Do you want to kind of talk me through what happened there?
Top articles. The top articles are all published over a year ago. Is that because they're ranked from old to new? And why on earth would you rank them from old to new?
I can't really say.
Okay.
But you can tell me if you think that.
I'm not going to get any answers from you.
Do you want to kind of tell us why you found that kind of strange or different?
Oh, oops. Damn. Sorry, I wanted to see your profile, but
that's fine. I can lock you back in.
Sorry. I wanted to see who your counterparty was and why. I saw who your counterparty was, but I wanted to see.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I know. So counterparty news.
So what
published 10 months ago. So this is not very. Sure, one of my competitors did something newsworthy in the last 10 months. At least I would hope so. Otherwise, I'm in a league of my own.
So how does that affect relevancy to you? So relevancy of the content and relevancy of the service.
You know, what is it that they say? Yesterday's news is old news. No, that for me that would not be. If I read an InsurTech report from, say, Q1 2017, it's inaccurate and outdated.
Right. Okay.
If when I'm looking up stuff on when to read or reports to read, it needs to be published in the last 2 months.
Okay.
I'm being a pain now.
That's why we're here, I think, to find out the pain points.
When I type MS Hamlin, there's only 2 articles.
Okay.
So either we don't get a lot in the news.
So do you want to give us any sort of like final bits of feedback on this? This is just the last 2 questions on this bit.
Okay. Running out of time already.
So final thoughts or things that kind of stuck out.
Yeah, I think what jumped out is how old the news is, but that must, because there's here one about 19 hours ago.
Yeah.
See, my personal view as well would be 19 hours. That's yesterday. I mean, not that. Just say yesterday. That's semantics, right? Sorry, I'm being a pain now.
And what are the 3 things that you'd change and why?
Start with if it was my tool, I would get the topics page, RSS feed on my favorite subjects. Have a profile page where you can say I want alerts for this, I want alerts for that. Maybe maybe preferred sources as well.
And what do you mean by preferred sources?
Or if there's an article published by, say, Crunchbase or TechCrunch. If you have TechCrunch, yeah. If you
Yeah.
say by TechCrunch to alert me immediately. If that article is related to one of my subjects, then please send me a notification immediately, or put it at the top of my page, or give me a notification when I access the portal.
Okay. Right, so that kind of concludes the demo of
Okay,
our web app.
cool.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you so we've got 3 images here. I'm going to drag them into the browser. And just going to try. This is obviously just an image, so this isn't an interactive prototype, but I'm just going to make it as close as I can to kind of give you the vibe of kind of the ideas that we're working on.
Okay.
And similar to the first kind of demo, if you could just click through, have a scroll around.
Sure.
What we really want to know, is this worse than the experience that you had before? Is it similar, or is it any better?
Okay.
So just try and think out aloud. And this is just an opportunity to kind of guide the product and hopefully in a more relevant direction.
I think the first one I have, so that's the feet tiles.
Yeah.
Is quite similar to what we have now, although I prefer the categories left, so the selection of teams that you do. You say all content layout is slightly and I like the fact that you can select if you want curation commentary or curation insights, sorry, user comments. Okay, that's cool. Were people able to add comments to the other one?
That wasn't a feature on the live prototype, but if you could talk me through kind of what you think that does, and if you'd use it, and what you think might happen if you click on it.
Okay, so I'm guessing that you're into the feed or the page of BP, and that this is maybe a company login, so that people from BP can log into this portal, see the 786 teams, and select those that they want, and then see articles related to that. Still not quite sure what the alert signal means. And then members from the team can comment on it. There's also a BP commentary, so I'm guessing that's something from comms or something that way.
Could you talk about the kind of comment feature? Is it something that you'd find useful? Is it something that you want to remove?
Yeah, no, I think it's useful, particularly because one article might a colleague of yours or yourself might have read something that's similar to it, and at least you can comment saying this is in line with this is contradictory to what this person said, or you read this, so have a read in this.
Okay. What
can you tag people in it?
Is that something that we'd want as a feature?
I guess the reason I'm saying that is because if we tend to use LinkedIn to tag people into articles and say, okay, read this. It's far easier than share a link.
Okay.
Not saying that everyone in my team would use this.
Yeah.
There's only 2 youngsters. But,
can you talk me through?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what we define as a youngster. But hey, let's continue.
Yeah. So it's a loose term. Could you kind of tell me what's kind of what you think is interactive and what things you might engage with and why?
I like this. I like the big boxes and teams and all that stuff. I would easily jump from one to another. Page with updates, like I said, alerts not very clear. The comments, does that say show us the comments, or is this just select articles where there have been comments on?
Yeah.
I guess I would like. I'd like to be able to make a selection of, okay, this is curated news, or this is a curated comment on these articles. BP has commented on these ones.
Okay.
This is not in line as well either. Then.
Sure.
saying curation commentary and this is BP commentary, or how does that
Sure.
work?
Yeah.
Okay. No, otherwise I like it.
Is there any way
ratio? Is that analytics?
Well done, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Settings, is that where I can control my profile, stuff like that? What's feedback? Is that an email to you guys? Oh.
What do you think feedback would be?
Well, I imagine it's feedback to you guys, but is that via email or how does it work?
What would
Like,
be
do I click on it?
What's your preferred kind of method of feedback?
Okay, I think I would prefer if that was like a chat or something, and I can just click on it and say, I would really like to have an article on. I'm looking for something related to disruption in distribution.
Yeah.
That person says, okay.
Would you want kind of instant chat, or would it be something that you'd be happy to wait for?
An instant reply would be nice, just to make sure it's acknowledged. I can wait a day to be published, although probably wouldn't actually, because you would tend to go and look for it yourself and forget about it.
Okay. What I'm going to ask you to do now, Philippe, is to click onto the next tab.
Sure.
And I asked you about interactive elements on the page.
Yeah.
And what I was kind of hoping to lead you to would be to interacting with this element here.
The BP commentary.
Yeah. So could you let me know whether you thought that was interactive and didn't mention it, or whether it's something that you'd probably miss?
No, I saw the comment. I didn't see it as very interactive.
So
probably reason being because I can't. If that wasn't, there would be a little box saying to comment on it. That would make it.
Okay. So was it what I really want to know is do we need to work a bit harder to ensure that users understand that this is expandable?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to write down that you missed that interaction, that it wasn't clear enough.
For me it was just a commentary and that was a statement
okay.
from them and not something I can interact with.
This is something that we definitely can't get wrong, so it's really interesting to know.
How does this work? So you clicked on it. What do I like the pluses already. Oh, okay. The pluses just make it bigger that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think once you've, as a user, you might never click on that, you might never find out. So what we need to make sure is that everybody understands that that's clickable, and that maybe we need to be more explicit that says click here to expand or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I think the plus is.
I think once we make this an interactive prototype, then we really see what people click on. But for the time being, okay.
Yeah.
So talk me through this bit, and
I'd like to directly be able to comment on this, but that's fine.
Okay.
Because I talk a lot.
I'm conscious we're slightly over time. Are you okay to continue for a few more minutes? Or?
Yeah, I just need to leave at 5:02.
Fantastic. Okay.
We've got 8 more minutes left.
Okay. So there's another tab here. This.
Can I comment on a comment? I'm too much of a Facebook. I'm not that I'm using it that often, but
would you want to comment on a comment and
yes.
make okay.
Yes. I think you would lose a lot if you only make comments on the same article.
Sure. And how would you kind of access this comment feature?
I would do it here, team comments, and then that would probably like it if I saw the first two or the most trending one or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to move on to the...
How do you determine impact?
I mean, how useful is that to you, and what do you think it means, and what's your...
Well, they're all at 1.
Okay.
And some of them don't have any.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the ones that... So as soon as you don't have a summary of it below, you have impact. I would always put the summary below. I like that. But that's my personal preference again. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, sure. You can hit the last tab, yeah.
Okay, these are my teams. Oh, this is what the feed would look like. I preferred this one, the one where you got 4 on one row.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think this page is for, and what might you use it to do?
Click on it, and then I see articles on it. It has a new, so I imagine there's a new article. Low carbon power. Yeah, I don't need an explanation next to it.
Fine.
That's
So
my-
you mentioned that you preferred the kind of live prototype version of this. Do you want to kind of give me some reasons for that?
Yeah, but not the main page of the live prototype.
Okay.
The topics page
Yeah,
as a main page.
Okay. So this is supposed to be, I guess, similar to that topics page. So
Yeah.
it'd be good to know if this one's worse
I
or
would
better.
keep it. Well, this is probably fine for a topics page to select topics, but as a first, I mean, as a dashboard, or no, not as a dashboard. Well, as an
As
accessing
a
page,
landing
opening page.
page,
Yeah, landing
yeah.
page. That's it. I very much like. You're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
This,
Okay.
and then even here with the small words, it doesn't. That's fine.
Cool.
And yeah, maybe some trending news up here and stuff like that. As long as the trending news changes regularly.
Fantastic. Okay. So in the dying minutes, we just got 2 more questions,
Okay.
and they are based on a Likert scale. So I'm going to give you a statement,
Sure.
and you can give me the answer being strongly disagree,
Okay.
disagree, undecided,
Okay.
agree, or strongly agree.
Okay.
Yeah. So curation services empower enlightened business decisions, and this is based on any
Wow.
services that you're currently using for curation. So your emails, the demo tool that you just used, and then the kind of prototype concepts that you've seen as well.
Between disagree and undecided, I think they could, but the way we use them currently, we don't.
Sure. So do you want to choose disagree or undecided?
Undecided.
Okay. And the next one is similar. So from strongly disagree, disagree,
Yeah.
undecided, agree, strongly agree. Curation solves the information crisis consuming the business world.
I didn't know we had an information crisis, but okay. I would say disagree.
Yeah. Do you want to give me some reasons for that?
I think it's one way of doing it, but it's one solution to it. It's not the solution. I think it still requires multiple sources, and yeah, if the information crisis means that there's an abundance of information, I think it's probably lots that I missed, but put it into a crisis. I think it's very difficult to do.
Sure.
I personally prefer having something very specialized in a certain topic, and having different websites than having one that does it all, but less detailed or less deep dive.
Okay. Fantastic. So that concludes our
That's it.
research session. How do you
Wonderful.
feel?
Fine.
Thank you very
That's
much
good,
again
thank you.
for your help. I'm just going to